Hey guys, welcome back to Thankfully Packed. My name is Chris. So I'm here with a little bit of a garden update video, I would say. So you may have seen on my other channel, Thankfully Packed Life, that I put in a no-dig garden bed right here, right by my fence. And I decided that that video was good for there. But for this channel, I wanted to do a little bit more of a long form video with all the details and exactly what plants I was planting and just make it a little bit more informed so that you guys could see what I actually did. And basically, if you don't already know, I'm on a mission to make my yard as beautiful and hospitable for all the local wildlife, so the birds, the bees, the butterflies, but also for me. Like, I want to walk out here and be like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Anyway, I was looking at this fence and I was like, wait a minute, this is prime real estate. Why am I looking at a boring brown fence when I could be looking at beautiful flowers? Hello. So, like I said, I put in a no-dig garden bed, and before I show you guys what it looks like right now, first, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time a little bit before I even started. So I'll show you guys all that footage and then I'll give you guys an update at the end, because when I say this thing is ever changing, it's ever changing. Literally every time I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, I go to the clearance section or the perennial section and I rack up, and then I come home and I put them in. So it looks a lot different now than it did right when I finished this project. So let's go back in time a little bit and catch you guys up. Alrighty, we have time traveled about 4 weeks ago. So this is what I was working with before I started, just like, regular grass all the way up to the fence. I had planted a few zinnia seeds, and by a few, I mean hundreds. Believe it or not, hundreds of seeds in these pots. So I just had to get them out of the way. I've been keeping them there for now, but they end up moving. And I'll give you guys an update, so stay tuned. I also thought I had to move this shepherd's hook, which is where I was hanging some bird feeders off of. And then I realized I didn't need to. It wasn't actually in the way. Now it's time to gather the materials, and that's just some cardboard that I get to save for my recycling bin, which I love. But before I could put it down, I noticed that there was quite a bit of grass and weeds along the edge of this tree trunk right here. This is a tree that was planted here before I moved in. I don't even know what kind of tree it is, but I didn't want to hurt it with the weed whacker, so I just got in there with my hands. And as you can see, I was not worried about getting every single little blade of grass. I even left a lot of grass along the fence at the back. Some people commented on that, and I was just like, whatever. Like, I'll deal with it later on. Maybe that'll bite me in the butt. But I did not want to go overboard and, kill my back trying to get every single little bit of grass along the fence. So I did leave some behind. If you've never heard of the no-dig method before, the basic idea is that the cardboard acts as a weed barrier. It blocks the sunlight, which helps smother the grass and the weeds underneath, and over time it breaks down naturally into the soil, and it's a really popular way to start a new garden bed without having to dig up all the sod and all the grass and all the weeds first. So that sounded like a win-win situation to me, because yeah, this was it doesn't look like it, but it was quite a bit of real estate that I was using, and to dig all of that grass up would have been probably days and a lot of back-breaking work, which I wasn't really trying to do. So anyway, I started laying the cardboard out and trimming pieces here and there where I needed to for some of the rounder poles. I ended up taking a lot more cardboard than I thought I needed, but I had still a lot left over, so it was perfect. And I also used these paper grocery bags anywhere I had little bits of gaps in between, because the biggest thing with this method is making sure you overlap all of the cardboard so you don't leave any openings where weeds can kind of grow their way through, because they will. So the more gaps you fill in, the better. By the way, a little bit of a disclaimer, I've never done this before, so take it or leave it with the methods I'm using. Some people wait a few months for the cardboard to start breaking down before planting, but I needed instant gratification, so I planted right away. Also, if you're not having at least a little bit of fun while you're doing this, I think you're doing it wrong. So next up, now that I have this nice little cardboard area, it's time to soak it. And thankfully, my husband just purchased this new hose for me, and it's just like the perfect timing for this project, because the one I had was leaking like nobody's business. Anyway, you really want to get the cardboard nice and wet because it helps hold everything in place, first of all, while you're working, so it's not just flying all over the place, especially on a windy day. And it also helps start the process of breaking the cardboard down over time. So I really just spent some time soaking everything. I went back a few times until the cardboard was nice and dark. And then came the soil. For this project, I wasn't using anything too fancy. I just went with this all-purpose garden soil that I picked up at Lowe's because my main goal here was simply to cover the cardboard and create like a really good base for planting. If you're watching this and thinking to yourself, you know what, she's not using enough soil, I agree. The thing is, there is going to be more to this. So obviously I'm going to be adding mulch on top. I'm waiting for a chip drop, which if you don't know what that is, it's when the local arborists in your area go to you and drop off free wood chips, essentially mulch, so that they don't have to pay elsewhere to dispose of it. And you get it for free. So anyway, at the time of this recording, it's been 5 weeks and I'm still waiting, but just picture maybe a little bit more soil, definitely some mulch, and I'll probably amend the soil as time goes on if I need it. Whenever you're planning an outdoor project and trying to figure out how much soil, mulch, or really any material you need, double it. Actually double it and then buy a little bit more on top of that, because I swear every single project I've done out here, I think I've planned perfectly. I do the math, I feel confident, and I get everything home. Somehow I always run out. So yeah, I got about halfway through and that means that I need a little bit more. All right, it is a new day. I have soil, I've got bricks, which I might have to dig, even though I said this was gonna be a no dig, but we'll see. And I got a shit ton more plants. I'm so excited. Let me show you. I got so many shrubs on clearance, like half off. I'm so excited because I want flowers, and some of these shrubs also flower, but I also want the greenery to kind of balance it out. I cannot wait, especially for when these things grow in. It's gonna be awesome. So many of my zinnia seeds have grown in. Every single pot looks like this right now. I just kind of threw them in there and hope for the best. I think you're supposed to take out some of the ones you don't want so that they don't get overcrowded, but I might just leave it. We'll see. I'm not gonna make you watch all that soil again, so ta-da! We officially have a garden bed. I have to admit, this was honestly very satisfying to see. Even before adding a single plant, it already looked so much better than it did before. Now it's time to do some planting. Okay, so if you're wondering why there is a bunch of bricks on either side of the tree, don't worry. I did not leave that there. I was basically using them like markers so that I would know kind of how far away from the tree's root systems that I was going to be putting something else with a vast root system, because these shrubs will get really large and I didn't want them competing for space, so I wanted to space it out a little bit. Also, I did a little bit of research before planting these, and one thing that I learned about rhododendrons, which is what that was, and azaleas, which is what you'll see right now, is that they prefer more acidic soil. I already had a bag of soil acidifier because I have some blueberries, which I'll show you guys as well. And I sprinkled some of that into the planting hole before putting the shrub in, or around the base if I forgot. And then I just ended up watering it in. So I think it was fine. Also, what you see me doing here, hacking away, is because I could not for the life of me break up the root ball of these azaleas. They were so tough and I really wanted the roots to kind of loosen up, so I had to break out the big guns. I had to cut it up with a box cutter, you guys. It was no joke, so hard and so compacted. And I was worried that just throwing it in the ground wouldn't be enough. These bushes are very resilient. They bounced right back, and it honestly, I think it did them a service to break up those roots and get them acclimated to the soil. This is another rhododendron. I kind of wanted around the base of the tree to sort of look symmetrical, but I abandoned the whole symmetry look because I'm also going for a little bit of a cottage garden feel. And one thing I've seen with those cottage gardens is that yes, they repeat the same flowers and shrubs, but they also don't have a very specific pattern. And I think that adds to the kind of whimsical growing look to it. So although I tried to plan it, I also kept in mind that I was going to be putting things spaced very close together because I wanted a bigger, fuller look sooner. Like, oh, this just kind of popped up on its own and it's just growing how the wild things grow, you know? Not too planned out, if that makes sense. So what I just put down there was some Shasta daisies, some phlox, and now I'm doing some daylilies. If you want to see the flowers that I'm showing here before I deadheaded them and kind of a closer look, feel free to check out this video right here, which is the Come Shop With Me. So like I said, I do want a natural look to this, but I'm also trying to keep in mind how things grow. So this phlox and this nepeta, I'm putting towards the front because they kind of mound and spill over. And I think that would be good there. But then towards the back, I'm putting things like this rudbeckia, the daylilies, the Shasta daisies, things that are tall, that will stay tall. So I'm sort of keeping in mind a layering look, if that makes sense. Anyway, at least this is just me based on Google searches of how these will look eventually, because I've never planted any of these. Actually ended up deadheading a lot of these plants. That's why they look a little bit kind of, you know, not pathetic, but they don't look like much. So I deadheaded a lot of them and they have rebloomed multiple times since then. I'm not even kidding. Next up, I'm planting some dianthus, which I actually ended up splitting apart. They were easy to split apart inside of the nursery pot, so I actually got multiple plants out of those dianthus. But the bunnies love that stuff. Oh my goodness. Every time they bloom, I find a little bunny chomping away, which I don't really mind, which is also another good thing that I split it up. But anyway, some more Shasta daisies going in the back, which I also ended up deadheading pretty severely, and there's a ton of buds right now. More dianthus, some more daylilies. Sometimes I clumped them together and sometimes I separated them. And this was kind of it for, I would say, round one. This is what I had immediately after finishing up with the garden bed, and all of that bird stuff is moved since then. It had to go. It was a little bit too close because I also ended up putting a brick border. So this is it now. This is the azalea that I planted on this corner, and if you care, here it is. It's the Christina azalea, and that is what the blooms are going to look like. I cannot wait. It's doing really good. I've got plenty of new growth. This is dianthus that I actually recently purchased a couple of days ago. I just planted it. It was a big pot and I split it up into 4 plants and it's gonna really grow in. And again, the bunnies love this, so I'm glad that I'm spreading it out because I think I would have not a single flower on these otherwise. This is what the rudbeckia looks like right now. A lot of them are going to seed and I'm wondering if I should deadhead it or just kind of let it do its thing. I don't know. I have plenty of it to experiment with and see what I like best, but yeah, there's that. Next up, we have bellflowers, which I planted as well a little bit more recently. It was flowering when I got it, but I deadheaded it severely, and I've already got 3 new little blooms. They have the cutest little bell-shaped flowers, I guess. I guess that's the perfect name for them. This is another azalea, but this one is called the Fashion Azalea. Look at that flower, you guys. Are you kidding? I cannot wait. I don't know if it'll bloom next year or the year after that, but for now, the shrub look is really pretty too. This is specifically the baby doll white phlox. This is a Shasta daisy that I did decide to deadhead, and as you can see where I cut, but look at all the blooms, all the buds that are coming up. So I think I'm going to continue to deadhead. Also, you'll notice, I don't know what the heck is chewing up these leaves. Some pest is in here just chomping away, and I don't know. I'm not going to do anything about it in terms of spraying, but I am aware that that's like that. This is more dianthus, the one that I split up. More cat's mint nepeta, which is growing in really nicely. I've got some new growth at the little tips. I cannot wait. This plant looks really pretty once it's like in full bloom. I think that'll be next year for me though. This is some of the daylilies. I've got some new lilies coming up, some buds right there. So that'll come and go. They literally last a single day. Over here we have some balloon flowers. Just purchased these. I know it looks a little sad, but they're already reblooming and they look really pretty. It's a really nice kind of violet looking purple. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but it's a nice plant. Here is more baby doll phlox. You guys, I'm freaking out. This one I deadheaded all the way back as well, and it bloomed beautifully. Like, look at this. It blooms in these little clumps, these little delicate white flowers. They're so freaking pretty. Absolutely love it. Over here, I also got my foxglove. My last couple videos I mentioned I wanted foxglove or digitalis as it's also called. And I'm letting these over here at the back go to seed because they self-seed really easily. I've got this white variety and then I also have this pink variety. Let me see. Oh, right here. Yep. Here are some of the blooms of the pink one. When they're standing upright, they look really pretty. But like I said, I'm letting those go to seed. Some more Rudbeckia back here, also kind of going to seed. I wonder if I can collect them and sow them another time. That was a little bit more dianthus, more cat's mint right here. And it kind of just goes down the line in repetition. But again, I didn't do a certain pattern. I just kind of used the same plants over and over again. So more balloon flower, some more daylilies back there. Those are about ready to start blooming. And yeah, it just goes down the line. But look at this. This was phlox, and I think this is baby doll as well. But if you look, if you notice, these have a cute little pink center. So gorgeous, almost looks fake. And if we go back over here, these don't have that like bright pink center. So interesting, but I love it. Don't mind me while I do a little bit of weeding here. I come out almost every day and just like pull up whatever little random weeds or seedlings decided to pop up. It's actually kind of therapeutic. I kind of like it. I don't know, it's just super satisfying. Just spend a couple minutes and pick things out. It's also super easy once the soil is wet, by the way. Pro tip. If you need to do weeding, wet the soil or wait after it rains. Super cool. Anyway, this is the dianthus that I was telling you guys that the bunnies love. And they're super cute. I love the bicolor situation on them. Really nice. I like that. This is what I was talking about. I think I can pull off these seeds and save some of them. I'm not sure. I'll have to do a little bit of research, but I think that's the seed heads right there. Anyway, I'm just going to sprinkle that in there. Maybe they'll come back. More balloon flower. This is the rhododendron. It looks so much better than it did when I planted it. And look at that bloom. This is called Royal Resilience. So beautiful. It almost looks like paper flowers, but I love the greenery look as well. So even if I never get a bloom on that, I wouldn't be mad. This, I don't even know what that is. I think that's balloon flower, but who knows? We've had some heavy rain, so the soil is getting displaced. That's why you can see the Stop and Shop paper bags, but I'll be adding a little bit more, and I'm still waiting on that chip drop. Anyway, here is another azalea. This is called the Pucanese Korean azalea. It does have some brown tips, but I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll establish itself. I think it's going to be okay. Another rhododendron here, but I think this is the same one that I put on the other side of the tree. Let me see real quick. Yep, another Royal Resilience. Such an interesting flower. I might be wrong, but I think this right here is the future buds of the flower. I don't think they flower this year, maybe next year. They have a different kind of blooming schedule, but fingers crossed. Super, super pretty. More dianthus. Bunnies and I both dedicated that. This is more daylily, more of the digitalis. Over here, I just have two of the white ones. Again, just gonna let them do their thing and go to seed. The bees love these, by the way. They love going up in there. So cool. Anyway, that's catmint. That is more of the balloon flower. As you can see, such a cute little flower. It's like a perfect star. Nature is so cool. Now, this over here is a Shasta daisy that I did not deadhead. And as you can see, you see a lot more of the spent bloom heads. But I think I'm going to go in and deadhead because the other ones are already starting to form new buds. But yeah, I just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't. And I have plenty to experiment with. Over here, we have one little coreopsis that I found on clearance as well. I deadheaded this back and it was really short. And now all of the blooms are growing up real tall. And I think I've started to realize what I like. And what I like is a double colored bloom. That is absolutely gorgeous. More daylilies forming some buds over there. And finally, one more azalea. And this is the fashion azalea once again. But yeah, that is what I'm working with. That's what it looks like right now. As you can see, I also added a double brick border, mostly to keep the mulch in and the grass out. And I think it looks really cool. It's not straight by any means, but I'm okay with it. So if I'm okay with it, it shouldn't bother you guys either, right? Honestly, you can't tell, but there's a ton of tree roots under the ground, which kind of stopped me from being able to make it as straight as possible. But again, I don't mind. I also want to show you guys my zinnias. Do you remember those little pots that I showed you guys? This is them now. They are literally overflowing with zinnias. They have been so easy and they've been growing so fast. And what I've been doing is I've been pinching them above the first couple set of true leaves, and that is causing them to branch out more. And I've already got a ton of buds. I cannot wait. Let me show you guys. So right here, this is a little bud. And then let's see, there's a bud in here. There is, let's see, I think I pinched a couple of them that did have buds already off because I just wanted it to branch out, and it was really hard to see because as you can see, these things are really, really full in the pot. So I only started noticing the ones that I didn't pinch off as they got a little taller, but this is another bud right here. And I just saw one that was almost opening right here. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have so many zinnias. I'm gonna have zinnias for days. There is, like I said, something chewing these plants up though. Like some of the leaves are a little bit suspicious, but it kind of is what it is. I know that with gardening, especially outside, there's even more bugs. Like I'm more of a houseplant girly, obviously, but outside there are bugs, okay? And I'm not spraying anything to kill anything, at least not anytime soon. I really don't think I'm going to ever do that, but so I have to accept the fact that some of the things aren't gonna look perfect, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I also have all of this. So these are all different types of zinnias. I haven't pinched these off as much as the other ones because these I threw in a few weeks after those. So those have a head start on growing and these don't. This is not zinnia though. This right here is, look at me, my little labels. This is a marigold, crackerjack marigold. So that's that, and that's obviously a very different leaf. And then these are all zinnias here. These are all zinnias as well. This was marigold as well, but they didn't grow. Nothing happened. I wonder if something got to the seeds though, like a little squirrel or a bird or something, because there's like a little hole. But yeah, this was supposed to be a sparky mix of marigold, and I only have these two little things, three little seedlings popping up after several weeks. So yeah, something happened there, but that's okay. That's why we overdo it, right? That's why we throw in as much as possible or make as many pots as possible, because some things are gonna fail, and I'm fine with that. And some of these are specific zinnias, so that's why they have their own pot. But this one right here is the Orange King, so it should be these really beautiful big orange blooms, like I think double blooms, I don't remember. But anyway, this is the Orange Kings. Cherry Queen, kind of as the name implies, it's like a red colored zinnia bloom. This is going to be Envy. I think it's just a green bloom if I'm not mistaken, but this is Envy. Luminosa, I have no idea what color this is going to be, but it should be pretty. Yeah, I think I need to start pinching some of these. Canary Bird Yellow, so a yellow one. This is Bachelor Buttons. It kind of just looks like grass right now, which is pretty too, but this should be a really cute, I think, bluish flower. I don't even remember. Something else that did not grow was this. This was my calendula or calendula, I don't know. This was supposed to be the specific beauty variety, and I think now that I look at it, I do see things popping up, but I also see what I believe is little chomp marks. So I think something has actually just been eating it. So there's that, but that, I don't think we're gonna get anything from that this year. Ooh, this one should be really nice. This is gonna be the Purple Prince. Very royal. But yeah, it just kind of keeps going down the line like that. There's different varieties in this one. I also planted gladiolus bulbs and dahlia tubers in this raised garden bed. So over here we have the gladiolus. That's what these kind of spear-like leaves are. And then I do have some more popping up in the soil. It's taking forever, honestly. And I kind of wish I hadn't used this raised garden bed for them, but that was before I knew that I was gonna do a lot more flowers, because now I'm into food as well. I have these blueberry bushes right here that I don't know, it's activated something in me, and now I really want a garden that I can like feed myself with. So I wish I had saved this for food, and I don't want to disturb the plants and like uproot them just to put food in there. So that'll be a next year's thing. But anyway, here are some dahlias, I believe. These I think are gonna need staking soon because they're getting kind of big. That's kind of it in its smaller seedling stage. And these are obviously much, much bigger. And the fact that I planted so many, like I don't even have footage of it, but I planted a lot in here. So only a few things have popped up, which is again another reason why I wish I had saved it for food, because now it's not gonna look as full as I wanted to, but that's okay. I also have some dahlia tubers in here as well that are popping up. These also have dahlias and have nothing to show for it. Over here, and over here, I had planted some dahlias. You can even see the top of the root, but nothing. I got nothing in here. So I think what I'm gonna do is repurpose these cages because, like I said, I'm really into getting food from the garden. Do you wanna see my blueberries? Don't worry, I do have a blueberry bush dedicated solely to the birds, which is over there. It's not fruiting right now, but I'm gonna be putting it in the ground so that they can enjoy those while I enjoy these. Let me show you. I've already gotten so many blueberries off of these, and they're so good. There is nothing like a fresh blueberry. These are called mini blues. They look like this. Oh my God, they're so good. They're so sweet. Oh my goodness, they're delicious. I actually think I need to harvest some of these. Oh my God. This time next year, when I have a huge garden full of food, we're gonna have the blueberries to thank because they're so good. Anyway, I'm just gonna cover these up real quick. But I definitely need to harvest soon. So I bought some tomato starts, some sweet pea seeds, and a few other things that I'm gonna be planting because apparently it's not too late. It's not too late for some specific fall crops, and some things can grow if you already have a head start on it. So like I said, I bought tomatoes already started because I would not be able to go from seed to fruit at this point. It's already like the end of July. Impossible. So I bought some already established. So I think I'll be able to get some fruit off of those. I got some bell peppers, and I can still start from seed with a few things like carrots, cabbage, lettuce, etc. So stay tuned for that if you're excited as me to see that because I can't wait. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. And yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. I have really been enjoying being out in the garden this summer because a switch turned on and I was like, I need to be outside. I need to be enjoying this as much as possible. And how can I make it enjoyable? By adding flowers, by adding colors, by inviting the wildlife. So yeah, there is plenty more to come. So let me know if you like this video. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out when you do that, and it lets me know that you guys want to see more of this as well. And don't forget to hit the notification button as well so you don't miss my next video. Let me know what you guys are growing in your garden, and if you're an experienced gardener, help a sister out. I am obviously very new to this. I tried a couple years ago to start indoors with seeds, and it didn't work out for me. It kind of discouraged me, so I didn't do anything the next year, and now I'm just having like an explosion of fun out here. So if you have any tips and tricks, definitely leave them below. I love to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Like, I need to be out. Oof, flies. What was I saying? Rhododendron. Sounds made up. I lost my train of thought. Kind of feel like I belong in The Sound of Music wearing this little dress. The sun is like right in my eyes. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I do think I need to pinch some of these off. Oh, did you see that? I got the hands. Caught it. What was I saying? I think that's it. It's gone. Sorry. It was a nice bird. Man, it's hot out here today. I think it's like 90 degrees. Hot. Okay, before I go, real quick. I know this video is super freaking long already, but I really wanted to show you guys what I just picked up because coneflowers, you guys. I feel like, tell me that does not scream cottage fairy garden. Like every single time I look up inspiration for the type of garden that I want, they have coneflowers. So I had to pick some up. And I think it's so cool how some of them are yellow and then some of them are red. I don't even know where the seeds are that I purchased. So there are seeds, but I also got some already started bell peppers. Well, just the one plant, but I love a good bell pepper. A fresh bell pepper, delicious. A couple of tomatoes. Look at that, one's almost ready to pick, I think. So I got a couple of those because again, I would not have had time to start from seed right now. And I got some basil. I love basil and I think there's so much you can do with it. So I'm excited to get some basil. Apparently it's also a really good companion plant for tomatoes. So I've been told. This is partial sun and shade. So these are some hostas. I've got two of them, two different ones, and I'm gonna be putting them underneath the tree that I showed you guys where it is just a little bit too close to the roots for anything else. Plus it needs to have something that won't die off without too much sun because obviously the tree creates a lot of shade. So I think these will do really good, and they have some flowers on them already, which is so cool. Silver Anouk Lavender, and this is another mounting perennial. I have no idea what I'm gonna be doing with this just yet, but it is so pretty even without the blooms. But look at that. And apparently the pollinators love this stuff, so win, win, win. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to give you guys a little sneaky peeky.